break that down. Break that down for the folks that like trying to understand it. Dig deeper in that. What do you mean when you say business is warfare? What do you mean by that?
I'm really just putting a tag on what you brothers was just saying. You know, how if you don't control the resources in your community, you don't control your community. It's not yours really. You just got listen. Eventually, if you don't control the business in your community, somebody's going to come in there and control them. And if you look in our communities, it's a whole lot of people that don't look like us that come into our community. They take money out of our community. They never bring anything to the community, you know? So that's the warfare, and we're not even fighting it. You know what I mean? There's a war going on. Like, even just think about this, brothers. Just we're part of the 1%ers in this regard, that we've been endowed with a skill set or a knowledge that enables us to go to the money well every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's that right there. Just think about that. Everybody doesn't have access to that. You know, we're able to do something that's a little different, and that's how we can overcome and win some of these wars and this war of business by being investors, by being smart with our money, by doing cooperative economics, you know, by doing things together. That's how you become a community, by doing things together. And that's that's what I mean by it's warfare. It's so much going on in our communities, and we're not even fighting.
Yeah, but see,
a lot of us don't even know we at war though. That's the thing. Go ahead, Corey.
So what I was saying is, when you was talking about those liberated zones, right? The one thing I would say about those liberated zones is that the first thing they do is they control all the businesses in that neighborhood. Like, even if they don't control all the housing, anybody can live in those neighborhoods. They don't even care. But I tell you who can't, you can't do, like, you can't buy a business in that neighborhood. If you go into Chinatown in Philly, all of those businesses are owned by Asian people. They might not be all Chinese, but all of those businesses are owned by Asian people. And
right.
If you go, there's a big giant Vietnamese a contingent here in Philadelphia. And if you go into those neighborhoods, they got a supermarket, a church, they got dentists, and they got their own doctors. Like, they'll buy a building, and then they'll get one of those doctors that they sent to one of these fancy colleges, and they'll bring them back, and that'll be their doctor. And they'll pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to be their doctor. And we don't do any of that.
Well, listen, at the dawn of the 20th century, we had over 50 banks. Last I checked, it was like 13, and it was declining, and it has declined. It's probably like 8 right now, but don't quote me on that. It's significantly less. You know, we have one Black-owned hospital in America, Howard University's hospital. You know what I mean? Like, here in Chicago a few years ago, it was 50% unemployment rate for Black men in Chicago. Like, how do we really expect for our communities to thrive if we're doing nothing to invest into to pour into the community? We're not pouring into the community.
Like, what kind of jobs? Like, my thing is this, right? Especially with men. Like, when you don't have something for them to do, they're going to create something to do. Like, for the very most part, like, we're not going to be hungry forever. Somebody going to feed us. Now, whether we got to take that food or whether that food, you know what I mean, wherever that food come from, and this is why you see the crime and the poverty that you do. This is why you see all these young boys going to hustling out here, or they'll take the gat and put it to your back. They'll rob you for $200 because they don't have $200 to them is a lot of money because they never had anything.
They're in survival mode.